Hello and welcome to another session with me. I'm Sanyukta Saxena, and today's session we'll be drawing one more ornate tangled frame. Yeah, and I have a photograph in front of me cut to square, and then what I have done here is done some bit of groundwork on my paper, placed the photograph like this, added a border, right? Then again, actually I placed it like this first, added a border, then I rotated it like this, added another one, right? And then taking these corners as my benchmarks, again drawn a square, and then again taking these, again drew another square. Yeah, so built up on one square, then rotated the picture, drew another one, then taking these four, drew another one, then taking these four, drew another one. Yeah, so that's the exercise I have done here. So I'm going to take probably keep the picture straight here like this. Yeah, so this is the place for the picture, and then I'm going to work on these three. Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do here is place the picture here, and yeah, so first work on these four corners. Yeah, so let us now start with this square first. Yeah, so the purpose here is to draw overlapping kind of frames. Yeah, so I've just given a light border to the square, and then I'm going to insert one more like this. Yeah, thin border. Like this. Yeah, I hope you can see clearly. Yeah, and then I'm going to fill in these spaces, so I'm going to pick up my probably brown pen. Yeah, brown pen would be a nice, or you can start with your black also, that's okay. So I'm going to fill up mocha here. Yeah, and fill in these small little spaces which are left. So it's a small space, not much tangling involved here. Just make sure that you ink in the small tiny spaces that are left in between. Like this. Yeah, so again I'll do the same exercise here also. Draw mochas. Again insert some orbs. You can add some flux here. Spaces are small, so just take your time, be patient. Yeah, and then some orbs here also. Yeah, so two of my spaces are done. Going on to the third one in the same fashion. You can draw any other tangle of your choice, that's okay. Just pick this idea and then add tangles of your choice. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And the fourth one, I think here we can draw from both sides. These are big and small because my photograph is not perfectly square, it is a bit rectangular. So all sides are not kind of same. So I have more space here to draw. Yeah. So drawing a mix of flux and mocha. These patterns go very well with each other. So they mingle very well. They gel very well. So you can anytime combine flux, stipple and mocha very comfortably. Again, filling in the small little tiny spaces. Take that time, make that effort. It will add to the look. Yeah. Yeah. So we are done with one part. And now we can either leave this portion as it is or we can add some pattern there, right? So I'll add a simple pattern there, probably Duda. Yeah, so I will pick up my brown pen and add the pattern Duda. So in case you are new to the pattern, then please you can always refer to my older videos. Yeah. So take your time and pick up a pattern of your choice to fill in this border. So lines coming from both sides, almost more than half of the other side. And the last. Right, so you can always add some rounding here. So what I am going to do next is add a little bit of rounding like this, slowly. Just take your time. Add that little ink at the ends. Adds a nice boldness to your Duda. Yeah. So So go slow, spaces are small, so take that time and add that little rounding effect to your doodah. Nice way to embellish your tangle. Simple exercise. Yeah, so done with that. Now let us move on to the next square, the bigger square, right? So what I'm going to do here is first add a light outline. Again the same exercise with my pen. Yeah, and the fourth one. Yeah, so now again the same exercise I'm going to do. I'm going to add one more line here. Yeah, yeah. So I just have to make sure that I don't cut this line, which is the line for my picture. But even if you do, the picture is going to come above it, so not an issue. Yeah, so one more border here. Yeah, so now that we have done that exercise, again the same thing, we will add one border and one filling. Yeah, so pick up one border of your choice. Probably I will go with what pattern do you want to try as border? Yeah, probably I'll go with hybrid. You can pick any tangle of your choice. Please go ahead. Tangles like hybrid and shattered look very nice border. They make very nice border. So just drawing these triangles. And then going to be adding the pattern hybrid. Add that woven look. Yeah, right. And now as we draw the pattern hybrid, so just start that weaving. You can also select two tangles, so you can add something on the other side and add hybrid on one side. Even that is fine. Let us see if we want to do that. So I'm going to continue like this, same exercise. Lines dropping from both sides just like betweed, but there is no rounding involved here. Straight lines. Yeah. Yeah, I think you got a hang of it. So you can see here I have done on one side the same exercise, right? Now on the other side we can do the same thing, or we can add something else. So let us add something else here. Simple. Yeah, easy. I hope you can see. Yes. So what I am going to do here is add these bales or rice kind of shapes on the other part of the triangle. Add an orb and ink the rest. Yeah. So 1, 2 and 3 and ink the rest. 1, 2 and 3, ink the rest. 1, 2 and 3, the hidden one. Yeah, simple exercise. I'm going to continue like this. Generally we use it inside triply. Looks pretty nice as a fragment. Yeah. So I'm going to be continuing like this. Go around and finish all the 4 sides. Yeah. So I'm done with that exercise, and the next step is to add a thin aura to my border like this. Again, intention is to separate my border from the rest. I could have done this here also, so it's optional. Generally I do this exercise. So I'm going to separate my border from the tangle that I'm going to be filling inside. Yeah, so now inner space, it is up to you. There are a whole lot of tangles that you can choose from. So I'm going to go with a simple pattern called garlic cloves. Yeah, so let us add garlic cloves to the inside. So I will be using my burgundy PN now. Yeah, and add some dots like this. So the tangled garlic cloves is quite like ravel, just that we don't have that curved S shape drawn first here. So we just link these with straight lines and then aura them. Yeah, I'll just show you. So I'm putting these random dots. So I'm switching pens here. Generally a combination of brown, burgundy and black that I use. Yeah. So let us get started first. We'll start from this corner. Add 1, 2, 3 auras. Right. Then next move on to this straight line. 1, 2, 3 auras. 1, 2 and 3 auras. Yeah. Again join these two. 1, 2, 3 auras. Yeah, so we'll have to, the spaces are small, so we'll have to draw a couple of hidden ones here, assuming they are going under the border. 1, 2 and 3. Again here we can draw a hidden one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, again this can be split into two. 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, like this. 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, so I'll go on like this. Simple exercise, drawing behind also at many places. Again joining these two. 1, 2 and 3. Again 1, 2 and 3. Again add a dot. 1, 2 and 3. So sticking to the same number of auras to ensure uniformity, but it's okay if you vary it also to fill up some spaces. Yeah, we'll see how do we want to deal with the leftover spaces. First I'm just going to fill up this pattern in whatever space I have, and still if there are small little spaces left, we can either ink them or add tipple or do anything we like. Yeah, so just first go with the primary pattern. So such simple pattern to draw, simple auras and nothing else, line work, and you can see how beautiful it looks. Yeah, so moving to the other side now, again starting in the same fashion. So once your hand is in the flow, then don't move it much. 3 auras, 3 auras. Again you can draw hidden one here, 1 2 3, 1 2 and 3, 1 2 3, draw one here. So instead of drawing one frame here, we are drawing a couple of frames here, right? Frames within frames within frames. So that's the beauty of this one. So again, going to the next 1 2 and 3, one hidden, 1 2 and 3, 1 2 and 3. So just go on like this. I think I have shown a couple. How am I moving? Yeah, so again you can join these two, 1 2 and 3. Again you can come here somewhere, 1 2 and 3. Yeah, so I am going to continue like this, almost finishing here on the last few. Continuing with the same exercise, drawing few hidden ones here and there. Yeah, yeah, that's about it. So the small little spaces that are left in between, it would be a good idea to add some bronze cheer or simple tipples. Yeah, so I'm going to fill in these small spaces like this. Add tipples but a little bolder ones, almost looking like bronze cheers. Yeah, so small little spaces left in between. You can either ink it completely with your black, or you can add some tipple or bronze cheers, whatever you feel like. Yeah, so I'll continue with this exercise. So I hope you can see clearly. Yes, so just going to add these small pretty orbs in between and fill in these small little spaces. You can see they add such nice look. to your pattern, and that's why the small little spaces, it's very important to handle them nicely. Yeah, don't leave them just like that. Add something, ink it. It will definitely add to the tangle. Yeah, yeah. So done with that exercise of adding the orbs, and you can see the look of the tangle. Yeah, now moving on to our third frame, which is this one. Again, almost hidden, just the corners are visible. So again, I'm going to outline like this. Yeah, so this is the third one that we are working on. Again, one more line. So it's a nice border exercise also. Yeah, we are trying different borders also here. So I'm now going to let me aura also at the same time. Add an inner aura. Yeah, and now let us add the pattern onomato in the outside, and we'll draw some other pattern in the inner space. So I'm going to start with these orbs. Right, we have already drawn this pattern once in this series also, so should be simple for you. Yeah, so just going to add these orbs around. So take your time, go slow. The orbs need not be perfect. That is why they are called orbs and not circles. It's okay if their shape is not perfect. That's absolutely fine. Just go with the flow. Yeah. So done with that. Now the smaller orb here in between, as is the case is an onomato. Yeah, you have these in between spaces filled with smaller orbs. Actually, you have one more line of orbs in the pattern onomato, but that's okay. We can keep it to this much. So done with that exercise. Now I'm going to pick up my brown pen. I'm switching pen again. Yeah, and going to add the pattern flux inside. Yeah, so that's the hidden frame. small little orbs here and there, an integral part of the pattern flux. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to add in all these 4 sections. Since it is a small space, you can add any tangle of your choice. There are so many. Yeah. So done with that exercise of adding flux to the 4 corners. Now if you want, you can add something inside these also. Entirely up to you. Or you can keep it empty. So I'm adding little printums here. Or you can shade them like pearls. That's okay. Yeah. So looks a bit more decked up. So one more exercise that you also need to do to complete your onomato is to fill in these small little spaces, tiny spaces in between the smaller orbs. That's very important. That is what will give the onomato its actual look. So next I'm going to do that exercise of filling up those tiny little spaces in between my smaller orbs. Yeah. So pick up your black pen, a finer nib, yeah, an O1, and then start filling up these small tiny spaces. Take that time and make that effort, because believe me, it's worth it. Yes. Almost done with the inking of those small little tiny spaces. I'm almost finishing. Doesn't really take much time, but it's pretty important because it adds to the look of the tangle. Yeah. So that's it. I hope you can see. Yeah. So done that part also. Now coming to our last frame. Yeah. So I'm again going to add an outline. So we are doing quite an exercise here, drawing couple of frames overlapping each other. Yeah. And the photo in between. So you can try this on your tile also. Yeah. Where you create the illusion of the tiles lying on each other. Yeah. So one more aura to this, my onomato. So done with that exercise. Now the last frame, up to us, what do we want to do? So I am going to go with the pattern probably Toodles. Yeah, so I'm going to start with Toodles now. I think I'm going to stick with black. So pick up my black pen and start with the pattern Toodles in the outermost frame. Yeah, so we already know how to draw the pattern. Stem, then these fescues starting right from the below, then these lines coming down and joining somewhere in between to these lines. Yeah, that's the pattern Toodles, and it gets that look only when you draw it in this way. Yeah, otherwise also it will look like leaves, but Toodles particularly drawn in a particular way, the fold in the leaf. Yeah, again, so going to continue like this. Yeah, so I am going to draw a couple more in front of you between two stems, then these fescues starting right from here, then lines coming and joining somewhere in the middle of this fescue line. Yeah, again two more. Yeah, so you can add a hidden one coming from here, whose probably only tip is visible. Yeah, again starting here. So enjoy each stroke, take your time, fill up this space with the pattern Toodles. If you want to add some other patterns, probably we will add the pattern Printums to fill up the in-between spaces. Yeah, my go-to tangle. Again, yeah, so one more here. Yeah, so you can, I think, add one border to this also if you wish to, but otherwise it's okay, not an issue. If you want, you can extend the border here also. We'll see if you want to do that, or probably I do that exercise. Just that my Toodles to keep distance from my other tangles. So small little differentiation. Yeah. At times things come later. Don't hit immediately. Yeah. Again, coming from this side, small one. Like this. Again, coming from this side. Hidden one. Yeah. You can draw a hidden one here. Yeah, and the small little spaces we can always use a different pen, probably PN burgundy, and fill in these small little spaces with the pattern printum. Like this. Yeah. So take your time, small spaces in between. You can also choose to fill it, it will look nice. But the spaces are considerable, so I was thinking I'll add some other pattern too. Yeah, like this. Very small spaces, you can even choose to fill it up. Your choice. Yeah. So I'll continue like this and fill up the spaces. Draw some more doodles. Right? I'm almost done with that exercise of filling up those small spaces with the printums and have also drawn doodles throughout. Yeah, so completed the frame by filling up doodles and now finishing with my small little printums, filling in the tiny spaces left here and there. Yeah, so that's about tangling. So let us now move on to shading. So I'm now going to start with the innermost. Yeah, so going to add a little shading here first. So outlining my first frame, which is the outline of my photograph. Yeah, then going on to the second. So you can also add an graphite here in the inside where you have drawn your mochas, but make sure you just add a little because you don't want the entire thing gray. Yeah, so both shades of white and gray should be visible for the shading to be prominent. And then I'm going to add one here. Inside, just like I did for mocha. Yeah. Again, don't put too much of graphite because spaces are small. So just a thin border and we'll blend it carefully so that we don't blend too much. Yeah. Then first the inside border. Again, carefully just add a little at the edges. Yeah. So the flames are already starting to pop up. Yeah. And a thin aura here, because we want to highlight the border also, but again places are too small, so I don't want to add too much. Just a thin line on the inside also. Yeah. Then the flux, so we'll add some graphite here. So we are trying to highlight what is inside the frame as well as what is the border, both. Yeah, so we are trying to highlight both here. Again, I'll be adding graphite on both sides of the border, but thin, so that when I blend, they don't make my border gray. Yeah. And then finally the last one. Here you have lot of scope to work. Yeah, so you can add some thick, nice thick graphite here. You have ample space to blend, so go easy here and add some thick graphite on the outermost frame. Yeah, so I'm just pouring graphite here because I have a lot of space here to spread. Yeah, so done with adding the graphite. Now let us start to blend. So take it easy, yeah, and blend very carefully without blending too much. So go slow. So blending the mochas but not blending too much. I want the whites to show. Yeah, so this is pretty small, so just rub on the graphite, that's it. Then a little outside the first frame, following the same order in which I have applied the graphite, just blurring that, and we will add a little more prominence to it using our watercolor pencil. Something I didn't mention in my tools, but I believe it would be handy with most of you. So now blending the next. Again taking it easy, not blending too much. Just soften the graphite, soften the pencil. Yeah, and then the other side, same exercise, soften the pencil. Don't blend too much. Keep the blending stump where it is, where the graphite is. Don't take it anywhere. Just blend on the graphite. You generally use the edges here, but I am using the tip so that I don't take it too far. Yeah. Yeah. So that's about it. Don't blend anymore. Then moving on to the border, again a soft touch. Don't blend too much, just soften the graphite. We want the whites also to show. Yeah, so just a soft touch. Moving on to the other side, same principle. Soft touch, not much. Oh, I'm sorry, I moved to the other one, I think. Blending this one. Again using the tips. Don't want to spread too much, so sticking to where the graphite is. Just softening it. And the last. Yeah, done. Then come to flux. Again the same principle. Leave the center white. Just blend the corners. So the corners recede and the center is highlighted, although it's a small space here, but that's what we want to do. Yeah, and then again soft touch on the border. Don't blend too much. I think I have not put graphite here. So just keep blending, but very carefully, otherwise the whole border will go gray. Yeah, so you have to blend, but you have to blend carefully. And then the final one. So you can blend wholeheartedly here because there is ample space to blend. Yeah, so just going to blur the graphite. Moving on to the next. Yeah, so almost done with the blending. You can already see the frames popping up now. Yeah. So now comes the chalk pencils. Yeah, so I'm now going to pick up my chalk pencil and start to highlight. So starting from the inside, my mochas, right, coming to my doodah, coming to my garlic cloves. So it's important to leave white sections because that is where you will apply the chalk. Yeah, so little highlight, and then again in the center of the border, like a highlight. You can also use your jelly roll if you want. If you think you're not happy with the highlight by the chalk pencil, then you can at times use your jelly roll to highlight. I'm sorry. Yeah, then again highlighting the flux. Then again moving on to your onomato. Yeah, and then the doodles. I think I left this space. Yeah, at times it happens. Yeah, you miss out. And again the chalk and the chalk. Yeah, and if you have a different stump, then just touch, brush off the excess. Yeah. Yeah, one last thing that I'm going to do here is pick up my gray watercolor pencil, and then I'm going to sharpen it a little bit because I want it pretty sharp. Yeah, and then just going to add a touch at the ends of all the frames. Very little, yeah, not much, just a touch at the end of all the frames. So that was one. So this is the second one. Yeah. This is the third one. So carefully just add a touch of your watercolor pencil to the frames, border them, outline them. Then the fourth one. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. We are done. Oh, my pencil broke. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah. So place your photograph in the center, and this is your frame for today. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the series. Have a good time. Stay safe. Bye bye.